everybody! Welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is Liz Loves Books. I am so excited today because we're going to be doing my June TBR. And I'm going to be doing it a little differently than I have my past TBRs. I'm going to be using a spin wheel to decide the books that I read this month. And I am taking a lot of these ideas from She Is Booked and Busy over here on YouTube. I'm going to link her channel below because it is absolutely amazing and I love her channel so much. So basically what I did was I just Googled a spin wheel and added all of my prompts in there. So I have a genre prompt, a author first name, an author last name, all of my bookshelves that I've got. So I'm really excited to get going, and so I'm gonna get to screen recording and we'll see what my first spin is. Alright, so I did my wheel spins and I screenshotted all the spins, so I will put them up in this corner here. And let's just get started with my first spin. So my first spin was a shelf, and it was shelf number 11. So I went to that shelf and then I counted the amount of books that were on that shelf. This one, 8. Which ended up being a book I've had on my TBR for a really long time. Like so long that I don't even remember what it's about. But it's called The Unsettled by Ayanna Mathis. And like the orange cover though, stunning. But I don't remember a thing about it. So let's figure it out together. It says, from the moment Ava Carson and her 10-year-old son Toussaint arrive at the Glen Avenue family shelter in Philadelphia, Ava is already plotting a way out. She is repulsed by the shelter's squalid conditions, the filthy bathrooms, the barely edible food, and the shifty night security guard. She is determined to rescue her son from the perils and indignities of that place and to save herself from the complicated past that led them there. So this is going to be a really good push to get me to read it, and it's not terribly long, which is really nice. Then I spun my next wheel, which got shelf number 12. And then this one I had to move down to my romance cart right here. And I got number 9, which was actually Hideaway Heart by Melanie Harlow. But since I haven't started that series yet, I get to grab Runaway Love by Melanie Harlow. And these are the new editions that got published recently. And look at these little sprayed edges with the little like lip kisses on them. Each of those books, as you can kind of see in this far corner there, have a lot of different sprayed edges. I'm just missing one from the series because I was able to get all these from Half Price Books for a lot cheaper. So Runaway Love is obviously a romance, so that's a good juxtaposition. Then we've got a fiction, family saga, historical kind of book with a contemporary romance. And it says small town here on the back, which I love. Oh, and I forgot what it was about. It's a single dad with a nanny. Gonna give Heartless vibes by Elsie Silver for sure. So, it says, yes, I'm a single dad who needs a nanny for the summer. But hiring the stranded runaway bride who shows up on my doorstep in a wedding gown with no references, no skills, and no experience, no one is that desperate. Except within 24 hours, down on her luck, Veronica Sutton manages to charm my kids, my parents, and half the population of Cherry Tree Harbor into believing she's perfect for the job. And for me. So it's also got her as like the runaway bride, which is also giving Powerless from Elsie Silver. So this is going to be like a combo of both of those, which would be really, really cool. So I'm very excited about this one. Then I spun my wheel again and we got shelf 14. And then out of shelf 14, I spun a random wheel generator and got number 8, which I'm so excited for this one. I got Taming 7 by Chloe Walsh. However, I have only read Binding 13. So I get to read Keeping 13, and again, new release, like ombre spines. And this book is the floppiest book you've ever seen in your life. Like I could just sit here all day and just be like, stunning. So as many of you know, The Boys of Tommen is an overarching series that follows various characters in high school, and the first 2 books, Binding 13 and this one, Keeping 13, follows Johnny Kavanagh and Shannon. Don't remember her last name, but this is the final story in Johnny and Shannon's story, so I don't want to explain anything really because it will spoil this book. But the little blurb here says, falling in love was the easy part. What comes next is the test. And basically this story takes place in Ireland. All the characters are Irish, and so it follows Johnny, who is a rugby player, and Shannon, who is a new transfer to the Tommen school that Johnny goes to, and all of his friends and all of her friends go to. And it just follows the development of their friendship and a little bit of romance in the first book, and the complicated lives that they are both leading, but especially Shannon coming from an abusive household, and then just Johnny coming from just having so much pressure put on him as a pretty much professional rugby player, or being, you know, taught to kind of go into the pros. So it's just their little story together, and one more for good measure. So I am so excited to read this one because this is technically a YA romance, so it'll be a little different than the adult romance that I've got. Then I spun another wheel, and out of those books I got I got book number 9, which I am so excited about because I feel like this is going to be better for me to get into than the previous book I tried by this author. So I get to read Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. And I know that this was like originally part of his Secret Projects Kickstarter that he did. Obviously this is just the traditionally published one, which I love the cover. I had started reading Mistborn a couple months ago, and I got through it and I wasn't enjoying it, but I just don't think my brain really wanted to read it at that moment. So I think this might be a better start to get a little bit more in on his writing, but in a little simpler format. And I know this is within the Cosmere, but I've heard people say that you can read this one without reading everything else first. There might be some like context clues you don't get, but I'm not too worried about that. So we've got Tress of the Emerald Sea, which says, the only life Tress has known on her island home in an emerald green ocean has been a simple one, with the simple pleasures of collecting cups brought by sailors from faraway lands and listening to stories told by her friend Charlie. But when his father takes him on a voyage to find a bride and disaster strikes, Tress must stow away on a ship and seek the sorceress of the deadly Midnight Sea. Amid the spore oceans where pirates abound, can Tress leave her simple life behind and make her own place sailing a sea where a single drop of water can mean instant death. So this one's going to be super cool. Kind of cozy fantasy a little bit, which is completely different than all the books that I've got so far. So the random wheel spinner definitely picked a lot of like good variety, which is helpful because some of these books are a little bit bigger. And speaking of big books, my last spinner wheel I got shelf 17. So I had to go into my bedroom in our closet with my small shelves that I've got, and I got number 7. Which was a book really far into a series. It's called Mad Ship by Robin Hobb. I am not that far in the series. I've only read Assassin's Apprentice, which is the first book in that overarching ginormous series. So I get to read Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb, and this one's a little chunky. How many pages is it? 648. So not, I don't think, as big as some of the books in the series, but it's double what Assassin's Apprentice was. So, and I also annotated Assassin's Apprentice, so I kind of want to be able to annotate this one. So this one might be like I read it over the entire month and annotate. I don't know, we'll see. But, I mean, these UK covers are just stunning. I was able to get almost all the UK covers. I think the books in like the 3rd connected series are an American publisher, so the height's a little different. But anyway, so this is a beloved high fantasy series here on BookTube. And I've just heard so many good things about it. I gave Assassin's Apprentice 4 stars, so I'm hoping that maybe this one I will give the same or higher. Hopefully not lower. We will see. But it follows Fitz. He is the main character throughout this entire journey, and he is basically a bastard son of the king, and he is in the first book trained to be an assassin for the king and the royal crown and everything like that. I read the first book like over a year ago, so I don't really remember much, and I don't want to give away any like unintended spoilers, so that's what you're gonna get from me. We got Royal Assassin. Then, like She's Booked and Busy does on her channel, she also has a couple other spins that she does that she calls her wild spins. I described a couple of them that I thought would be fun to do. So I did author first name and author last name, and then I did a genre spin and a prompt spin. So for my prompt spin, I got an audiobook. And I'm going to leave that one kind of open because I'm not sure what audiobook I want to listen to. And usually with audiobooks, I usually get them from my library's Libby app, or Everend if I have it. I don't currently have Everend right now, so I'll probably find something from the library. I might try to get the second book in the Raven Boy series, which I think is called The Dream Thieves. That could be the third one. I could be incorrect. But I might try to get that one from my library in audio because I listen to the Raven Boys on audio. So we'll see if that one works. And then I have a YA book. I have some YA on my shelves. Obviously, Keeping 13 is YA, although that is a little bit more intense YA. So I feel like I might find one that's a little bit lighter, a little bit more fun, easy going. So I'm going to take a look at my shelves really quick and see what I've got. So for my YA book, I took a look at all of my shelves, and I decided to go with one of my 12 books to read in, or 25 books to read in 2025, because I need to kind of get going on that one. And I picked Zara by S.J. Jones. This is part of the Guardians of Dawn series. It is the first book, and this cover, all the covers in this series so far are like this, and it's not super long and it's YA, so it should read really easily. I got onto this series and was interested in reading it because of Tori Between Pages, who I've talked about in my previous video, which was my reading journal video. So I am very excited for this one. Ooh, and it has a really fun map on the inside that's in orange. We love a good map here. It's called The Morning Realms. And then I didn't even look at the inside naked cover, but it's got this really fun like lion statue on the front. So that is super cool. And then basically the synopsis of this one, it says, magic flickers, love flames, chaos reigns. They say that when the world is out of balance, the Guardians of Dawn are reborn. Jin Zara's life was already full with appeasing her stepmother's cruel whims, looking after her blind younger sister, and keeping her magic secret from those who would kill her for it. But when a mysterious plague starts transforming magicians into monsters, Zara joins a secret magical liberation society called the Guardians of Dawn, and her life becomes entwined with an easily flustered young man named Han, who has secrets of his own. This sounds so good! I'm so excited. Magicians go missing, abominations emerge, and Zara's powers are growing beyond her control. A demon has awoken in the Morning Realms, and Zara must find the elemental warrior within before the balance between order and chaos is lost forever. Guardian of Fire, there you are. This is giving me Avatar: The Last Airbender vibes. And I am obsessed with that show. I loved it. I watched it like when it was premiering on Nickelodeon. And we don't ever speak about the movie or even the TV show they did because they were both terrible. So let's hope this iteration of it doesn't let me down. Then my last two books on my TBR, we've got author first name and author last name. So for my author first name spin, I got author first name E. And I looked through all of my books that I've got on my TBR, and I had quite a bit of options here, which was really nice. So I had Fathom Folk by Eliza Chan, Whiskey Business by Elliot Fletcher, My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante, People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, Into the Wild by Aaron Hunter, Air Awakens by Elise Kova, The Doll Factory by Elizabeth McNeil, Hooked by Emily McIntyre, River Sing Me Home by Eleanor Shearer, Off to the Races by Elsie Silver, Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter, and The Story Collector by Evie Woods. So I had quite a bit of options here. But I think I'm going to stay away from any of the fantasy because I've got 3 fantasies on my TBR right now. And I have 1, 2, kind of 3 romances. So I think I'm going to stay away from romance as well. And so that kind of leaves me with My Brilliant Friend, Into the Wild, The Doll Factory, and maybe The Story Collector. I know The Doll Factory is kind of like a thriller horror-esque book, so I might go for that one. Or Into the Wild by Aaron Hunter, which is not even a YA, it's more of a middle grade book series, and I used to read it as a kid. It's that series where the main characters are all cats and they like have their own clans and they live their own lives. I bought a bunch of box sets from Half Price Books because I was like, I want to collect those again. I want to reread them again. So I am gonna grab that right over here. So we got Into the Wild by Aaron Hunter. Super short, super quick. I think we're gonna go with this one. Just have a little palette cleanser here. And she has so many series, like, within this universe now. It's kind of crazy. Like, we have The Prophecies Begin, which is this series, which has 6 books in it. Then The New Prophecy, Power of 3, Omen of Stars, Dawn of the Clans, and I think there's even more than that because they weren't even written when this book came out. So, I think we're definitely gonna read this one and just have a fun little nostalgic time. It says, Fire alone can save our clan. For generations, 4 clans of cats have shared the forest. But Thunder Clan is in grave danger, and Shadow Clan grows stronger every day. In the midst of this turmoil appears a house cat named Rusty, who may turn out to be the bravest warrior of them all. It's so cute and wholesome, and I'm so excited to reread it and have that nostalgia. Then my last spin was author last name, and I got Y. And I was like, I don't have any books that have an author with last name Y, and then I found out I have a couple. So that works out. I have A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara, which we are not going to be reading right now. I've already nixed that one. Then we have Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. And then we have The Scum Villain Self-Saving System by Yuel Ime. I looked up the pronunciation beforehand, so hopefully I didn't do it too badly. This is a recommendation from my friend. And I've got that book right here. That really cool cover. Although now that I think about it, the author is something different here. So Yuan Yimei may be like their actual name. This might be a pen name. I'm not sure. But Mo Zhang Tong Shu. And this looks like it's another start of a series, the first book. I just love the glossy cover of this. And I just picked this one because it seemed like it was going to be a little lighter again than the other options I had for Y, even though I guess technically it's not Y, but I'm going to count it because I don't have time to be reading Iron Flame when I have Royal Assassin on my June TBR. So this says, half-demon Luo Bingye rose from humble beginnings in a tortured past to become unrivaled in strength and beauty. With his dominion over both the human and demon realms and his 100-strong harem, he is truly the most powerful protagonist in a trashy web novel series. Okay, so this is going to be kind of like silly, goofy, funny. I think. And it's got really big margins and stuff. So this one will be quick to read. And I never read anything like this before. So we're going to see how I feel about it. I think I'm going to be part of at least one book club for sure. Oh, and Rascal's made his appearance just a tad. Rascal, you want to say hi? Come over here. Oh, hello. Hello. My June TBR. I will not read all these. But I love to have options. I'm so excited. And I will see you guys in another video soon. Bye.